called love. I'm a get round to it, I ain't ready. Crazy little thing called love. This thing called love, it cries like a baby in the cradle all night. It swings, it chimes, it shakes all over like a chatting fish. I kinda like it. Crazy little thing called love. There goes my baby. She knows how to rock and roll. She drives me crazy. She gives me hot and cold fever. She lifts me in the cool, cool sweat. I gotta be cool, relax, and get in, get on my tracks, take a back seat, hitchhike, and take a long ride on the motorbike until I'm ready. Crazy little thing called love.
All right, you can hear the clocks going off, folks. You know what time it is. It's time for prime time, and we got a great guest for you tonight. And I'm going to quote from her here: "You're not broken. You've been broken open." So the devastation of betrayal isn't just in what happened; it is what follows. And she's an expert. She is going to. She got some wonderful, wonderful materials to help you. You can also chime in, type in, you have a question, something like that, and I'll make sure she sees it. And but she, if you think you lost his trust, the collapse of confidence, the fear that you'll never feel whole again, betrayal shakes your identity, but it does not define your future. And now I'm going to bring on Lora Cheadle, and she is a behavioral recovery coach, licensed attorney, somatic attachment therapist, a clinical hypnotherapist, and an international speaker. And let's let you meet Lori. How's you?
Hey, I am so excited to be here. This is going to be a great conversation.
I know it is. It's going to be. And Lori, you have so many titles there, and I'm sitting here. Man, I couldn't even keep up with one title. I had to go and carry my little notebook with me. And now, in your career growing up, did you have family members that I know that you're an attorney, but did you have family members as an attorney? And what got you started on that path?
I did. I've had several family members who were an attorney. I had a family member who was a judge. Um, but what I was really passionate about was just the idea of justice, because you see all these injustices happening, and then you experience them. And it's like, I want to make the world a better place. I want to get people to have, a fair outcome. I want people to be happy and healthy and taken care of. And it was that idea of, I really want people to be treated fairly and to get justice when something bad happens. That's what really drove me.
Well, the divorce rate is just ridiculously. What makes you think that a spouse would commit infidelity and would drive them there? And when they make these vows in the beginning, everything's happy, everything's wonderful, and to me, I'm of course a Presbyterian pastor also, and some of my experiences like that a lot of times comes from actually money, unfortunately, financials.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that is why I feel like I am here on this earth, is to help spread understanding around betrayal, because we have this narrative that betrayal is about passion and it's about all of these things, when really, in reality, people commit adultery when they are hurt, when they don't know what else to do. Most people don't go down this path because they have got a morality problem. Most people don't think it's ever going to happen to them. It's just that they are in so much pain. And what I like to say is, cheating is a tool. Just like alcohol can be a tool, smoking can be a tool, gambling can be a tool. Meditation can be a tool. We have adaptive tools and we have maladaptive tools. And cheating is just another tool that people go to when they feel broken and hurt inside and they don't know what to do to feel better.
Now, you guide women through their soul shattering, because it touches the soul
Oh,
impact of infidelity, and to make a reclaim their life, uh, because it's in some experiences that I have seen couples that a lot of times they go through this here, and especially the woman there is kind of I hate this, but men sometimes take and make that they're the sole winners. We're the only ones that can do anything, and they keep the woman kind of at bay. Okay, you can't cut off the friends a little bit, you know. No, you don't need to work. I'll take care of you,
mhm.
and it really takes a lot out of 'em even before this happens.
It does. It does. It's it's such a sad experience too because I was gonna say in our culture, but I think it's in all cultures too. People aren't really taught to, first of all, identify what they're feeling, to share their fears, to share their vulnerabilities, to identify what's happening, and then to share it with another person, especially somebody that they love. We want to look good in our partner's eyes. We want to be capable. We want to be competent. And as things get hard, as things get scary, we don't open up. We're not vulnerable. Instead, we start shutting people down. We start controlling. We start, squashing and putting on this armor, putting on a happy face, a tough face. And we drive each other further and further apart instead of using our challenges to open up, to express, to share, and to really bond and come together. And infidelity like that, it's a long-term cycle. Typically, people just don't go out and cheat. It's one pain and another pain and then a disappointment and then putting on a happy face and then not saying something and then resentment builds and all of a sudden, one day it seems like a viable choice. And then what's so hard about it, for the record, my partner cheated on me, for many years with many different women. And we worked through it, and we are still married today, and we are stronger and closer than ever before. We just celebrated our 30th wedding anniversary. But that experience made us get raw and real with each other. We had to talk about our pain. We had to talk about our fears. We had to lean on each other and move through. Whereas in the past, when difficulties would arise, we would sort of distance from each other, put on the happy face, you do this, and kind of start controlling each other and not being authentic with ourselves.
Now, you are the creative life choreographic. There we
Choreographer.
go, and the flaunt.
Yes.
Where'd you come up with the name flaunt? I was just curious about that framework. I know you got a book out with this, and I'm sitting there wondering. I always like to wonder why people come up with names.
Yeah. I love the word flaunt, and here is why. Yes, it is an acronym for my 5-step process that walks you through betrayal recovery, but here's why I use that word. When we're hurt, when we've been betrayed, when we're scared, what do? We crumple, we shrink, we hide. And the more we crumple, the more we collapse, the more we shrink and hide, it becomes a self defeating cycle. I'm not going to reach out to people I'm ashamed. I'm not going to talk to my friends, my family, my, church, my therapist. I'm not going to talk to people because I'll get through it. I'll get through it. And we go into that state of collapse. Flaunt is about standing in your truth, your energetic truth, your spiritual truth, your whole truth. I'm struggling right now. I'm really strong and powerful in these areas of my life. I'm sad here. I'm confused here. I need help. When we can flaunt both the good and the bad, not to show off, but to just be very transparent, that's when we can get help. That's when we can have those wise people around us bringing us information that is going to shift us into a different state of being. And that's why I chose that word. When we can flaunt who we are, how we are, what's going on, then we can get the help we need.
Yeah, because a lot of women, especially, they break down depression and things starts just going downhill. And with your expertise, and people, you can look at the bottom to ticker and you see where she can go and go on her website. She offers a lot of classes and emotional support. She offers the complete path of healing, legal, emotional, somatic, and spiritual, so women will rise whole again and sovereign and free, which is what we want to be and what you want to be. And like I said, Laura's author of Flaunt, Drop Your Cover and Reveal Your Smart, Sexy, and Spiritual Self.
Yeah, because that's just it. We get locked into rules. I talk a lot about labels, rules, and scripts. And we get locked into those labels, those rules, and those scripts. And then we end up performing our life instead of being in our life, instead of living our life. And it's how do we reveal all facets of who we are? Humans are complex. We don't always make sense. We can believe conflicting ideas. We can have conflicting thoughts. And that's okay. That is the path of life. And like that, when we can start embodying all of who we are without that fear of judgment, that's when we really can find peace. And not only peace, that's when we can live out our best life. We all have these amazing gifts. We are all here for a reason. But as long as we're pretending and performing, we're not going to make contact with that reason, and we are not going to be who we were meant to be.
Right. Now, statistically, who commits infidelity the most? And
Typically, yeah, it's men.
right,
hmm
and,
And
and I agree with that. It's
yeah, and it's
now,
interesting too because um, statistics are hard because people don't always admit to this,
right.
but some statistics are as high as 70% of relationships, not just marriage, but all relationships experience infidelity. And then in others, it's around 50% of relationships have some sort of betrayal. And define betrayal. That's hard. For some people, it can be texting, it can be pornography use. People define it in different ways. But the bottom line is, it doesn't matter what it is. When your partner is lying to you, either from an omission or from an act, when they're reaching out to somebody else, it's all infidelity and it all hurts.
Right. What are some of the signs that that can point to someone that's betraying you? I know that it's all kind of things out there, but what are the most common ones that you even hear about? That
Yeah, yeah. Most commonly, especially women will say to me, "It seems like he's picking fights with me all the time." And then suddenly he's busy all the time. He's working all the time. He's got to travel a lot. He's on his phone. He's hiding his phone from me. It's this, it's not that it's always just one thing, it's just this combination of behaviors. And what I like to say too is trust your intuition. If your intuition is saying there might be something going on here, listen to yourself because we tend to dismiss. My partner wouldn't do this. I never thought my husband would do this. He's very honest. He's got a lot of integrity. We had a ton of fun together. We had a really good relationship for the most part. It doesn't make sense, and that's why betrayal hurts so bad. If it made sense, if you could say, "Oh, well, I saw that coming a mile away," it wouldn't be betrayal. But most of the people that I work with are floored because they never saw the signs.
Right. And I think you have a book. It's called it's not Burnout, it's Betrayal. And that's what you talk about. You got five tools to fuel up and thrive. And uh, when you're talking to women, or you talk sometimes that, and to find out that they've been kind of in denial, just kind of just turn a blind eye and just okay, as long as I'm past five here, I'm just kind of just blindsided.
Here's what's hard about that. Life is hard, and we can't address every little thing in the moment. It's like you've got kids, you've got finances, you've got in-laws, you've got the house, you've got all of these things going on. And in the moment, nobody really thinks that they're turning a blind eye. In the moment, you feel like you're surviving. You feel like we've just got to do what we've got to do. This is a tough time in life. We're not sleeping, we're struggling, we're just barreling through. And the thing is, in my case and in so many other women's case, you put your head down and you charge and you think we're in this together. We are doing this together. And it's not until you find out what was really going on and you look back and you Monday morning quarterback it and you go, oh, we were playing different games. I was in it with the idea that this was a partnership and that there was a commitment and that we were doing this for the family. He was not holding that same vision. He was playing a different game and I didn't see it. And that's what makes it so damaging then is you start blaming yourself and you start thinking about why didn't I see this and why didn't I know this and what could I have done differently? And that's like that double betrayal then, because instead of having compassion for yourself that I was doing the best that I could at the time, and it makes sense that I would trust my partner, then we spiral in blaming ourselves, and that makes the betrayal worse.
Now, when someone takes your course, do you suggest after they take your course and they trying to heal back from this, do you suggest for them to have their spouse with them to take this course if they're trying to uh, heal from this infidelity?
Yeah, it really depends. If your spouse is somebody who is safe, if they're not abusing you emotionally, physically, financially, and they're a safe person, then yes. And also, if the spouse is committed to healing. And if your spouse is not committed to accountability, to unmasking themselves, to figuring out the why, to making amends, then it can create so much more damage. Because for the men's point of view, this sounds so strange to say, but I have so much respect for the men that stand in it and step up because that's hard.
Right.
That's really hard. And those kind of partners, those kind of men, that is exactly who I want. But if you're still blaming and shaming and saying, well, you made me do it and it wasn't that big of a deal, then those partners should not be in the program.
Yeah, and I can understand that right there. And I know just reading over some of your courses, and it's not for women to say, well, this is how you're going to catch them. It is a
Yeah.
healing process. You've already know that this has happened. So now it's time to get your life together. Because I have seen so many, and not more so with men, but with their partners that they just get totally crushed
Yeah.
uh, from this. And when they get totally crushed, then they just give up, and then and gets worse where the man is gone and moved on and seemed like he's prospering and things like that. But you're down here, and
Yeah.
that's where you come in with your courses to help them uh,
Yes.
overcome this.
Yeah, because it is so painful, and it's like, for me, I couldn't let it go because I couldn't make sense of it. And for a long time, I was kind of stuck in that victim mentality. I sacrificed for him. I did everything. I took care of the kids. I did all blah, 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 blah. And you start spinning that story, that narrative in your head. And one day I realized this is making me really bitter. This is making me jaded. This is making me resentful. And that means that I am not Laura. Laura is bouncy. She's perky. She's positive. She's happy. She's powerful. She's strong. If I let him change who I am, whoa, he's won. And I'm not going to let that happen. This is my life. I get one precious life and I get to live it as Laura. And I was victimized and it was awful, but I don't have to be the victim. I get to choose how I live my life going forward. And I can learn from this and I can make myself better and I can help other people and I can create something from this, or I can be telling the same old story 50 years from now about how awful it is. And that's not who I am. This pain was so bad, it better be worth it.
Right. Well, I can see because I see it all the time. Is that they they start degrading themselves. They feel like that they cannot. They're not worth it. That's something that they did. And even with like you said, you got the kids, you did this and this right here. Well, I did everything right. That what it's supposed to be in the marriage, and but he didn't. And what did I do? So I can see, and I've seen also where men say, okay, I'm going to leave. There's other fish out in the sea out there, and I know from experience from some person that recently, and they found out that, gosh, women just went flocking all over him like he thought.
Nope.
Because
Nope.
it is his habits, his things that way, and I always told him, I says, you know what, the grass is green on the other side, but also the septic tank's underneath of it. So if you dig down, you're gonna get a mess.
Exactly. Exactly.
Now, your mission and all your teachings and speaking engagements is to help high achieving women reclaim peace and confidence and self-worth no matter what happens in their relationship.
Mhm.
And I think that's great because I, I don't like to, put in a part where the woman's a weaker point like that, but sometimes, men and women think differently. We have, I call it sometimes tougher, uh, outlook on life, and that, we're invisible. We can do anything, stuff like that, where I know ladies that think differently. We're built that way. And it's no slam on women, but, uh, I can see that what you're doing here is really going to be it's better than any type of depression drugs or anything like that. This is you just letting them know and bringing out their inner self,
Mhm.
who they were.
Yes. Yes. Because we let so much of ourselves go. Like I was saying earlier, playing the labels, the roles, the scripts. And life is so busy and we really lose touch with who we are. And especially women, we serve. We I think many women want to serve. We want to take care of people. And also, it's our culture. We've been raised to believe that we should take care of people. And I can see both sides of that. There's a huge part of me that is nurturing. I love to nurture. I want to nurture. And I've been conditioned to do that too. What I have not been conditioned to do is to take care of myself, to identify my own needs. What are my needs? I don't know. But if you tell me you need something, oh, I can take care of that. Oh, I can do that. I can solve that problem. And after so many years of taking care of other people's needs, we do lose touch with what do I want? Do I need alone time? Do I need a walk? Do I need more friendships in my life? Do I need deeper connection? What is it that I need? Do I need spiritual connection? Do I need to read? We don't know. And that's what I help women do is come back home to themselves. Who am I and what do I want? And how do I advocate for myself and express myself and just be myself in service of peace and deeper connection with others?
Now, when you're talking to some of these women in some of your classes there, uh, and they get over this hump and they feel good around themselves, do you give them some avenues for their next relationship, some different paths to go on instead of the one they was on that really got hurt, how to
Oh,
trust again, and especially don't go back to the same rut that you were.
yeah, definitely, definitely. A lot of that is really people talk about how can I ever trust anybody again? And what I always say to them and what I teach them is by trusting yourself, by learning more about discernment. What does that mean? By listening to the voice in your head and identifying it as the voice in my head. By listening to the feelings in your heart. What does your heart want? By dropping into your gut. What does my gut say? And by learning how to speak up for yourself without the need to please other people, to conform to standards, or to perform up to an expectation. And these are my two three-part things. Whenever you are in a situation, ask yourself, what does my head say? What does my heart say? And what does my gut say? Because that helps you check in and discern. And then asking the three part, am I seeking to please? Am I seeking to conform? Or am I seeking to perform? And if you can do those two three-part checks, it's going to help you moving forward, ascertaining why am I doing what I'm doing? Am I seeking to prove myself? Or am I genuinely having a connection with this person? And does this feel right to me? Or does this feel wrong? Because when you know you are not going to betray yourself again, then it's easy to trust others because you know you have already got your own back.
And that's true. And to me, even the simplest things, it's like wife and I, we don't say, well, it's your job to mop the floor. It's your job to do this right here. We work together in the house, even together.
Mhm.
And to me, even with that brings closeness.
Yeah.
We don't want to go out by ourselves together to say with someone else to eat. We do once in a while, but we don't want to do it. We want to go in as a couple, as a married couple, and
Yeah.
as a family. And we even have family dinners once a month. Our son comes, we go to his house every Wednesday. He cooks a huge meal with china and all this stuff here, and so we enjoy our families and friends.
Yeah.
And together. It's not one friend here that one's connected to. They either know me or know them, and that's why we prefer it, and
Yeah.
and it, and it's healthy that way.
It is. It is. And that's that connection and that talking and that trust. And you and your wife could talk together and say, this week I have a stomach ache. I don't feel like going. You can support each other. You can speak honestly. This is something that we enjoy. You can talk to each other about that. You can say yes, you can say no, but it's something that brings joy to both of you. And so many relationships get stuck in patterns where people don't feel safe communicating that to each other. They don't feel safe breaking out of the mold, or they never develop anything together that they do as a married couple, and they're living parallel lives. And that makes it really hard to be vulnerable, to be honest, and then to come together and have any kind of a meaningful relationship.
Well, I've got a little video of you right here that I want to pop up, and I just thought I'll watch a lot of your videos, and I says
Mhm.
I like this one, so I'm gonna flip it on there for us.
Okay.
Reclaiming yourself after infidelity can take time, but you know what? You deserve to take back every ounce of joy and passion that you can. I am here at the Social Media Marketing World Convention in San Diego, and it was right here 7 years ago where I first learned about my partner's betrayal. And you know what? It took me 7 years, but I am back. Not only am I back, but this year I am working as staff. So I took back this situation. I took back my power and I took back my joy, and so can you. So give it a thought. Let me know below, what do you want to reclaim after your infidelity journey?
I love that because one thing is that it takes time.
Oh, it does.
It wasn't just instantly that next week or so you're like, woo, okay, I got it all up together. It takes a lot of time and a lot of courage for
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
But I just love that little bit like that. I mean, you're going to be on the bottom right here, but we're going to look. I'm going to stop the ticker there a minute, and we're going to look at some slides, and we could talk about these slides here. And this is something I pulled off your slide. Also, I cheated. All right, I like one of those. It's not a burnout. It's betrayal. It's your 5 tools to fuel up and thrive. Now you've launched this out, but uh it's on your site, and this is another part of your program. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. When you go through betrayal, there's the internal work and then there's the external work. And this program that it's not burnout, it's betrayal, 5 tools to fuel up and thrive. That's a lot of the external work. How do I communicate with other people? And then the flaunt, drop your cover, that is about how you come back to life internally. Because all of life, so within, so without, as above, so below. It's all facets. And I want to make sure that women truly heal on all levels.
Now, Flaunt is they can purchase the book on Amazon
Yeah.
and also go on your website. Uh, now, this is a book that you can just handle and read, or do you have it also in a digital form?
Both. They are both books
Great.
you can hold, and it's also digital, and Flaunt is also available on Audible.
That's great. See, nowadays, I mean, you were talking about earlier about technology and things, and what convenience you have because everybody's holding on to their phones now and everything, so they can download it and listen to it.
Yeah.
It says, "Stop longing for the past." Listen.
Yes.
Now, wait a minute. I got to ask you just one question. What is the librarians?
The librarians are my guides. You know that deep wisdom within? They are my guides that I channel. When I sit, when I am still, when I hear a voice that is not my own voice, these are my guides that come in and help me bring wisdom not only for my life, but for other people as well.
Well, I was looking for a group there. I said, librarians. I got to look now. I got to see where that's at. I'm glad you explained that.
Exactly.
Now, you find, and when it says stop longing for the past, and when this happens, you got to kind of forget the past and go forward. Is that correct? I mean, you'll never forget, of course, but
Right.
you've got to don't live it.
Yeah, yeah, it's so easy to get stuck, to get locked into the past, to keep saying, "Yeah, but you did this. Yeah, but you did this." The past is over. We can learn from it and we can move on, but we cannot hang on to it because when we hang on to it, we keep repeating, And what I'm all about is this is deep soul growth. This is about compassion. This is about sovereignty. This is about really becoming, one of the things that I say is you're not broken. You've been broken open. And it's broken open for what? For more grace, for more love, for more light, for more connection, for more awareness. This is making the most and eking every bit of growth out of this process. And that does mean keeping our keep facing forward instead of facing the path.
It's kind of like you said in on your site, break free from betrayal's grip.
Yes.
And so you're releasing that, and you've got to have a clear mind to go forward, and you're of course prime example. That's one thing I love about what you do, is that it's not that you'd never experienced, but you wrote in the book about it. You never experienced, but it's just your thoughts. You
Right.
experienced it, because I've seen so many people that write things and put things out there, never experienced. It's like a drug addict. You haven't never took drugs and stuff, you don't know what he went through.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. And just making peace for what I wanted. I wanted this pure marriage. I wanted this love story, this Cinderella fairy tale, like all of the things that I wanted. I can't get those through no fault of my own. I can't get that. I can obsess over that the rest of my life and live in that pain, or I can make peace. I can accept unconditionally. I can find forgiveness. I can have compassion for myself, for my husband, for the other women, and I can move forward and find joy.
Right. And it's like on the left is stop letting your betrayal eat you alive. And it can,
Oh, yeah.
because so many I've seen just give up. They just give up, and you can see it in their face. They quit putting makeup on. They quit doing their hair. They didn't care what they wear. It's almost like they just give up on life itself.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a giving up in life, because why try? Why bother? And I felt that, for a while. It was like, why bother? I tried so hard before and it didn't work. So why am I going to bother? Why be good? Why try?
And I like this next one. Anger isn't becoming. And you know yourself, we've seen people present anger even out in public and all, and it's not very becoming, is it?
No, it's not.
And anger isn't the problem. Silence is.
Mhm.
What you mean in that right there?
Um, a couple of different things. When you are betrayed, you are going to feel incredible amounts of anger. And we have to feel our feelings. We can't just say, oh, I'm a good person. I'm just going to bypass this. Oh, I'm just going to move into forgiveness. Mm-mm. You got to feel that anger. You have to feel it. Now, projecting your anger onto other people, blaming and shaming other people is not it. But you need to feel that rage. You need to cry. You need to grieve. You need to, I don't care if it's punching a pillow or screaming into a void. Anger is something that we need to feel and we need to flow. And I think especially for women, we don't show anger. We don't know how to show anger. Anger feels scary. I was afraid of my anger, and I thought, well, I'm too good of a person. I don't get angry. I just process it. Something like this showed me anger is real, it's visceral, and it hurts. And I need to constructively release that anger instead of zipping my lip, because I was kind of raised, don't rock the boat, don't say it, don't do
Mhm.
anything. I got to speak my truth. I can speak it with dignity and I can speak it with respect, but I'm angry and I'm speaking my truth and I'm letting that anger move me.
Well, you know yourself, if you build up this anger, and it builds up and builds up and builds up, it could just either kill you or someone else. It would explode. And I like that about not being silent, but yet
Mhm.
you, that way the person knows that you're hurt. I mean,
Yeah.
if you silent like that, it's, oh, must not care very much or something.
Yeah, we wouldn't know. And we bottle it up, and then we get aches, we get pains, we get headaches. You know how it is when you're just like, oh, you feel like you're gonna explode.
It definitely. And the next one here, why we self-sabotage after betrayal. Explain that, please.
Oh, that is a big one. That is such a big one. When you've been hurt, you don't want to take a risk and be hurt again. So sometimes it's easier to stay in that place of being hurt, to stay in that place of wounding, to not get the help you need because you're afraid if I reach out and get the help and it doesn't help, then I know I'm hopeless. So I'd rather self sabotage than know that I'm hopeless. I'd rather not lean into my marriage. I'd rather not lean into this. And we hurt ourselves by protecting ourselves.
Do you find it's so we're just some women that they will go back into the relationship and start being very passive, like they themselves would did something wrong and they're ashamed of it, and they're just going to just again silence, probably just go back in a relationship like that. Uh, that's to me it's not very healthy.
No, no, it's not. It's not healthy to go into that silence and to go into that passiveness, but it's also not healthy to hold your partner over a barrel for the rest of the relationship either. And it's getting to that place of honesty. This is what I'm feeling, and this is what happened, and what are you doing, and what am I doing, and how can we bridge that gap and become us and move forward as a strong couple?
Right, and you don't go back and say, well, you did this, now you got to use it as a leverage to it. It never works.
No, no, it doesn't. And then that's going to drive the relationship further and further apart because then there's no trust. The man can't be honest because he knows anytime he messes up, she is going to hold the affair over his head. And then she can never let it go and move on because she's always back there in that story.
Right, and she'll dive deeper in to depression or into that mistrust. Is really it can cause a lot of even health problems.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you got episode number 3 out there, from chaos to clarity, betrayal recovery 101. And
Yes.
they can go on your website, which is on the ticker down below, that they can do how to get into your programs. And and your programs, are they also offered where they can uh, either watch or have the classes uh, any time of the day, because you got people very, very busy, and,
Yeah.
and they, I don't want them to think, well, you got a certain time that you teach the classes, or this spiritual video is here and there, but that they can get it anytime.
They can absolutely get it anytime. In fact, one of the things that makes my coaching unique is I also give people 24/7 access to me with a secured app. So they can talk to me, they can send me a text 24/7. So if they're watching a video, if they're doing a class, they can just shoot me a text and say, here's what I'm processing, or here's what I need to know, or help me with this. Now, I don't respond in that exact moment, but I always respond within 24 hours. So you can get that real time support because, yeah, healing is not on my schedule. It needs to be on your schedule. And sometimes when something's extra emotional, we need some more space. And then sometimes we're like, I got to dive in and consume it all and do everything.
Well, I tell you what, I'm already you're being 24/7. You wouldn't be able to rest very much. And I like the picture beside it. I want to put out, it's not too late. And that's a very, very important word right there. It's not too late.
Yeah. Yeah, for whatever it is, for repairing your marriage, for having the marriage of your dreams, for finding another partner who is more in alignment with you. That's one of the things that I hear so much is it's too late. We're too old. Our families are too enmeshed. What will the kids It's never too late for whatever you truly from your heart desire. You can have it all. It's just that you have to choose it and work for it.
Well, and you know they got to cultivate their confidence, and they got to, I think, like you said, encourage, know yourself, show yourself. You know, take bold, aligned actions, creating the next chapter of your life on your terms, and not defined by the affair. Uh,
Yeah.
and to me, that is positive rethinking and positive for what uh, and it's not, you know, I don't want people thinking, well, we cater to all to the women here, and while what they do here, men, you've got another you need to also uh, do some things. It's not just one sided here.
No, no, it's such it's I hate to say it's such a beautiful experience, but whatever that catastrophe is, whatever that tragedy, whether it's cancer or a health scare or the loss of somebody or an infidelity, these dark nights of the soul make such fertile ground for growth. And
Def-
it's like, yeah, stepping back and having that awareness, why was I given this experience? What can I create from it?
Well, I think just being on the man's side of it here, and if I had done that and seen my wife in a whole different perspective, she's look like, wait a minute, this is not the same woman here. She's
Right.
stronger, and she has, you know, different outlook on things, and it could just, you know, fall over in love with her again, just and draw him in just by the way she is.
Yeah, our relationship is so much better now because we see each other truly as we are, not the way that we projected onto each other before. And it's good. And yeah, it's an entirely new relationship, and we did have to fall in love with each other over again. And for us, it's had a beautiful ending. And yeah, in the story of our life, there was a really bad chapter here, but it's a chapter. And I closed the door on that chapter and we have moved on from it.
Betrayal doesn't have to break you. We talked about that, and it's not burnout. We talked about that quite a bit. I just want to show this. The way you perceive life is the way you receive life. I love that.
Me too. Thank you. Isn't that the truth? What is the lens that you're looking at this situation through? It's the worst thing that ever happened to me, then it will be. Or it's the most profound, deep, life-changing thing that ever happened to me, then it will be.
Exactly, and always, it's life is too short. You know, I look back and I remember I got my driver's license, and I got to look and I says, "Gosh, that is over 60 years ago."
Crazy.
Where did time go? And it goes by quickly. And I tell people, life is too precious to give up. If you want to, at 70 years old, jump out of a plane, which I jumped out when I was like 65, 10,000 feet.
Wow.
Uh, do it if that's what you want
Good.
to do. You know, it's got to. But if you're married, you do it together. She
Yes.
didn't believe me. She didn't jump. She's scared of height.
No, I wouldn't do that
Yeah,
either.
she looked. She said, "You're crazy."
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I have a good supporting wife on my crazier adventures and things like that. So, and we always do it together. And
Yeah,
because
yeah.
even with my videos, I do a cooking show for her for people to see, you know, her cooking show. Uh, and she didn't want to do it at first, but finally got her to do it. And now she's got a good follower talking about she says, but I sound just like so Southern. I says, you're a Southern
You
cook.
are.
You got to sound Southern.
Yeah, but like that, supporting each other. You don't have to do everything together, but just supporting each other and
Yeah.
connecting and sharing.
Yeah, and one thing we have fun doing together, we got several towns in our county,
Mhm.
and each town has a Christmas parade. Well, we host that Christmas parade live where people can see it, they can't get there, just like we're in New York, so we're doing the Macy's parade. We got our little hats and all this stuff on here, and all the people notice, and we was telling what little floats going by, and little small town parades.
How fun. Like, I
Yeah,
wanna come do the parades.
it is. It's fantastic.
I bet.
Now, you have a program that's starting strong. You have a 90-day path to stop spinning and reclaim your footing after
Yeah.
betrayal. Talk a little bit about that 90-day program. What are they getting in this program?
Yeah, when you talked earlier about all of my different certifications, the reason that I got educated in so many different modalities is what I have come to learn is that betrayal recovery is holistic. You can't just think your way through it. You can't just talk to a therapist and be like, yep, I talked, I thought it's all over. You need to heal on an emotional level, a mental level, a spiritual level. And that's what this 90-day program does is it helps retrain your mind. I've got some small journal prompts with some questions. So you start thinking right. You retrain the way that you're thinking about and seeing and understanding this experience. I also use some breath work, some super short guided meditations. I help teach you how to ground and center. So whenever you start feeling yourself doing this and getting frantic and frenetic, you can feel your feet on the floor. You can drop your belly into your breath. You can get out of the survival portion of your brain back here, fight, flight, or freeze. You can get back up into the prefrontal cortex and start making rational decisions. It's also got somatic processing videos. Like, what do you do when you feel your body like this? How can you use movement? Somatic processing is just using movement to help move those emotions through the body. If you're feeling like this, start doing that with your body and move it through. If you're feeling tight and clenched, how can you bring some movement in to release that? When you feel shut down and you can't get out of bed, how can you start maybe walking at a slower pace, moving to a faster pace to bring some more energy to your body? So that's what we do. We do journaling to retrain the mind, to create some more neuroplasticity. We do meditation to calm, to center the emotions. We do somatic processing to release all of that stuff that you're carrying. And then we talk. That's when I use that app, that 24/7 app. You talk to me, you tell me what's going on. I will help guide you into what you need so we can really create the way you are experiencing this event.
Well, I can see someone that's just one party course there has just found out a need to stabilize, and
Yes.
that is something that is very important at the beginning when you just found out.
Yeah.
Uh, I can only imagine what that had to be when you first found out.
Yeah, because you're thinking, am I safe? Am I physically safe? Do I need a divorce? Do I need a lawyer? Do I need a new place to live? What am I going to tell? Like, all of these things start going through your mind, and then it creates panic. And then when you're in panic, you do go into fight, flight, or freeze, that survival portion of your brain, and you start doing stupid things. And you start not making sense. And then the stupider things you do and the more things you're doing that are not making sense, it starts spiraling. And then pretty soon you can't get it together. And then you feel worse about yourself. This is what this program is designed to do. Let's stabilize. Are you safe now? How do you get safe now? What's the first thing to do? What's the second thing to do? What can we do tomorrow? Let's start recreating structure and safety and feeling more present and confident in what you're doing right now.
And they don't need, like support for a big commitment. You give flexible recovery support, and that's another great thing that you offer there. And also it's about ready to come back home to yourself. That's
Mm.
very important.
It is. It is because it's also, I talked about being a high achiever. When you're a high achiever, you're capable and you can fix problems. So you see this problem and you're like, oh, I can fix him. I can fix him. If I can just get him in counseling, if I can just get him in therapy, if I can just get him to see. And instead of focusing ourselves, we focus on everybody else. And the truth of the matter is, we can't control other people. We can only control ourselves. And coming back home to yourself is releasing that. Coming back home to, I can control me. What does my heart, what does my soul, what does my mind need? And starting everything from that place of serenity and acceptance that in this moment, I can only control me.
And it kind of returns a person back to having joy in their life, because this is going through something like this takes the joy out of life, no matter what kind of activities you're trying to make up over it.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, people see it in you.
Yes. Yes. And I love that you said that because we were saying earlier that it takes time. It took me 7 years to get back to that social media marketing world and the clip that you showed me. It took me 7 years to process, to find peace. That's a lot of time to have no joy. And that's why my programs really focus on how do you find those moments of joy along the way? Because no, you're not going to be all healed overnight, but there's going to be family events. There's going to be birthdays. There's going to be holidays. There's going to be all sunrises and sunsets. Where can you take those moments along the way, even if it's just 10 minutes, even if it's just looking at a meme on social media that makes you smile? Focus on that. Find the gratitude, find the moments of joy, because again, it's your life and you get to choose how to live it.
And that's what I love. But like I said, I went and looking over all your programs, and I encourage anyone that's going through this, go to their website. You can see underneath here the ticker, just go in all these places she saw over there. Google her name, and you'll see it pop up real quickly. Uh, buy the books. It's not burnout. It's Betrayal, the 5 tools to fuel up and thrive. Flaunt. Drop your cover, reveal your smart, sexy, and spiritual self. Because really, I know it's from experience when I had some downtimes like that. You get a good shower and you dress up, and somebody go out, say, "Oh, you look nice." It changes things a
It
little bit,
does. Yeah.
and so I had had to put up my white pants now. But somebody made some funny rule about wearing white after Labor Day.
Yep, yep. And I do want to say too, yes, my specialty is infidelity and betrayal, but there's all kinds of betrayal. Sometimes aging feels like a betrayal. I didn't expect this was going to happen to me. Sometimes a medical diagnosis feels like a betrayal. What makes a betrayal different is it's got elements of grief, it's got elements of loss, but most importantly, it ruptures your identity. I thought I was going to be like 40 years old my whole life. Wait, what? You know what I mean? I thought my body would be healthy and strong my whole life. Wait, what? I thought my grandparents would stay alive forever, that they would be around me forever. You know what I mean? When people lose
Yes.
their parents, their grandparents, you're like, it feels like a betrayal. I mean, rationally, but when it comes time for it to happen, it doesn't make sense.
That's why I encourage a lot of people, especially when their parents is way up in age, is to do a video, talk to them, and ask them all these questions that you don't know about. Get that history that she had. What did she really like? And that's what I was telling my wife. I said, by doing these cooking shows, the great grandchildren are going to be able to go back and hear you talk. Your own children are going to hear you talk and see you make things, and they can't go back and just read it like a recipe. They're seeing you do it, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
because life is precious and it goes quickly.
It does. There's a chapter in my FLAUNT book about my grandmother on my dad's side. And it was a few months before she died. And we were cleaning out, her house, moving to assisted living and doing all that. All of a sudden, she drops the bomb that, oh, by the way, she was adopted. We're like, what? What? I mean, that's again one of those shocking things, but because we had some time with her, we were at least able to start unpacking and getting those stories, and we weren't completely left in the dark. And it's been a really neat situation. We have since found her birth family, and it's been a great story, but we might not have known that if she would have chosen to keep that a secret.
That's right. And it's a lot of secrets in the closets. Because a lot of the older people, they
Yeah.
don't want to express that.
Yes. And it was such a gift for us to know.
Definitely it is. Well, Laura, at the top of the hour, I won't take any more of your time. It's been great. I've enjoyed this, learned a lot. I learned a lot just by going to your website. People go to the website here. And Laura, I'm going to put you on backstage and I'll bring you out when I close out. And we'll see you in just a couple minutes.
Great. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. All right, I hope you got a well of knowledge. And like I said, below it talks where you can find Laura at, and she is a delight. She's experienced it, so she knows what she's talking about. She is wonderful. And next week we're going to have another band coming up, and we're going to be talking to the band members there. And you've probably heard them before, but I'm not going to release their names yet. I will later on this week. Well, I'm Jerry McKee. And you have a great, great week.